Following Satellite TV, I am James Cousineau in Vancouver, British Columbia. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Khalistan in Conversation. Over the last week, I've had the privilege of speaking with many people who were in attendance to either place their votes in the Khalistan referendum at the Surrey Gurdwara or those who have come into town to support the vote. In this episode, we'll chat with Jagdeep Singh, a self-proclaimed Sikh activist, and let's head over to that conversation now.
Tomorrow, we're going to vote on a question of independence for Punjab, which is we want secession from India. The Sikhs decided to live with India in 1947, and but now, after 75 years, how the India governed the Punjab, we don't want Punjab to be governed by India anymore. So we want to decide our political status, and we're going to vote tomorrow for independence of Punjab, a non-binding referendum, which is I can say after UK, Italy, Geneva, Austria, Toronto, Australia, now in Surrey, BC. So we're going to vote tomorrow.
Excellent. And what kind of numbers do you anticipate for people coming out tomorrow?
In more than 100,000.
100,000. Excellent. So, and for any of the viewers that may not know that the location was changed from the local school to the Gurdwara here on Scott Road.
Yes, the location was changed because of interference from India. The Sikhs, that's a foreign interference in Canada, which is Prime Minister Trudeau has mentioned recently when he was on his way to India. So from Singapore, the news came that Prime Minister Trudeau said if he get a chance to meet with Prime Minister Modi, he will discuss the issue. He will raise the issue of Indian interference in Canada. Right. And when you read the article in Global News, they mentioned about Sikhs in the Khalistan. So only reason for the Indian interference in Canada is because of the Khalistan movement. Right. The Canadian government give right to people, to the Sikhs, so they can exercise their voting right, which the Canadian institutions are actually established to protect the fundamental rights of Canadian people. Right. So when we talk about the location of event was cancelled from secondary school to Manipur Secondary School, it is a direct interference of Indian influence in Canada, and the reason they gave, which is the picture of a gun. Right. But that gun, if you see that picture clearly, we are denouncing the violence, denouncing the gun that India used and using. Currently, that Indian guns has been hired to kill one of the organizer of this event, right, who was the president of this Gurdwara, Hardeep Singh Nijjar. He was gunned down here at the temple, and we believe these guns were hired by India. So you can imagine if Sikhs in Canada are being stopped and to exercise their right to vote. So you can imagine what Sikhs in India are facing in current Indian regime.
Yeah, and that's very visual and very, I would say very visual, but in a lot of ways it's being covered up by the India government too. When you look at regions such as Manipur with the executions that videos have leaked out of women being paraded naked through the streets and executions in the middle of the streets of women and minorities in terms of religious or otherwise. So it's very important, I think, for the Caucasians and Canadians, as well as others around the world, to understand why this referendum is so important.
Of course, the successive Indian governments have used the same policy. The which one you are seeing now, these policies are being used from 1947.
Right.
So what happens in what's happening in Manipur and what's happening in Punjab or other parts of India. So when India called herself a largest democracy and shutting down the internet in a state like you said, Manipur, it's actually they're covering up their sins.
Right.
They don't want actual reporting to go out. Even though some of the reporters who were reporting on Manipur, they were even booked under the law for spreading the false information. So India has the all their institution. All the institutions are being used to suppress the people.
Right.
Otherwise, they were supposed to use to give right to the people and to protect the people. But
Right.
their institutions are being used to kill the minorities.
And do you think that it's highly underknown or covered up the measures that the government in India is taking against journalists in terms of imprisoning or when they just disappear, when they're reporting anything negative about the Indian government?
Well, it's not new in India. It might be new for the Western world because uh, they had a faith in India that India is on their side on a world order, the current world order. But now, when the West seeing India as in on a fence or in a Russian side, so a lot of
Right.
stories are coming up. So Western media, the Western governments are focusing more on what's happening in India.
Right.
So it is good for us. Otherwise, our voices were never heard before.
The other day, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced that they are going to proceed with an inquiry and have appointed a former justice from the courts to lead that inquiry into foreign interference in Canadian elections. Do you think that goes far enough for the Canadian government to investigate and focus only on the elections, or should they broaden that to investigate all activities of foreign governments, such as the potential involvement in the murder and assassination of Mr. Nijjar?
Well, it's supposed to start from somewhere. It will go beyond elections. It will go beyond what we are seeing it. So it need to start from somewhere.
Right.
So it's a good start that Canadian government, even though from last 6-7 years, I personally felt that way, that Canadian officials are like they are not aggressive when it comes to the statement, when it comes to the Indian officials giving statements against Canada. So they were very calm, or they were very but now, when Justin Trudeau said that he is going to open an inquiry for the Indian interference in Canada, I think it's a good start.
Excellent. Well, that's great. I'm going to be visiting today. Well, obviously, I'm here now, but I'll be back again tomorrow for a good part of the day, and hope to interact with a lot of people, and really excited to see how this turnout's going to happen. With that said, do you think that the rest of the world is really focused on the results of this vote?
Right now, the G20, if you Google G20 events and all the news, the Khalistan have overshadowed it.
Right.
They overshadow it. Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister of UK, gave a statement of Khalistan extremism, that we will not let it happen, but there's no extremism.
Right.
So they're already, British government has already institutions and measures to counter any kind of extremism. It's not something that a new thing. Well, when I said the UK Prime Minister has given a statement about Khalistan,
Yeah.
so that's their headline. So Prime Minister Trudeau said the inquiry about foreign interference is about Khalistan.
Right.
So you can see when the Prime Minister from the two countries are visiting India, the main primary focus is the Khalistan.
Right.
So I think it's good for us that our issue is being discussed, our issue is being highlighted.
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. I appreciate you taking the time, and I hope that we can spend some more time over the next 2 days as things allow. We know that you're very busy getting set up, and tomorrow's going to be even busier. So
Yes, and I'll request you that tomorrow the Punjab Referendum Commission will be here.
yes,
So more importantly, that you should interview them.
yes, I'll be here all day tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm planning on being here all day.
Yeah.
So by all means, I'm happy to interview whoever's available, and that's wonderful.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, before we finish, if I can get you to state your name, spell it, and then your role, your position.
Jagdeep Singh, start with Jagdeep, last name Singh, Singh, and I'm a Sikh activist.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time today.
Once again, thank you to Jagdeep Singh, a self-proclaimed Sikh activist who was at the Surrey, British Columbia location for the referendum on Khalistan. We appreciate you taking the time to speak with us. And for our audience members, once again, we appreciate when you like, follow, and subscribe to our platforms on social media. In addition, always feel welcome to reach out to us via email at message@satledgetv.com. Once again, this is James Cousineau for Satledge TV in Vancouver, British Columbia.